Hello, big, beautiful, loving planet called Earth. I was talking to some individuals. I'm not going to say any names or not going to talk a whole lot about it. But the things that we were talking about were like, there were. What if I were to do? Now, this is just hypothetical situation at this point. I'm not saying this is going to happen or not going to happen. There are possibilities that I could, if I have enough money, I could go to another state for my birthday next year. Now, I realize that a lot of you guys are sick and tired of me talking about my birthday. And this isn't for you. This is for me to look back on when I'm 80 or 90 years old and realize that, hey, I did some amazing things in my 30s and my 20s and my 40s and so forth and so on until, I can't remember everything. But there are a couple of things that I would love nothing more to do than to go to. I've mentioned Florida as a possibility, whether that's Orlando or it's Miami or something along those lines. I've mentioned New York in the past on this channel. But there are other states that I would love to go to that would be kind of cool. And places I've never been to before. In New York, I've never been to before, just to point that out. I'm not saying that that's going to happen because that's going to be a lot of money, and I'm thinking of something that's a little bit smaller budget to do. I've always wanted to see Oregon. I've always wanted to see the state of Washington. I may have, at some point in the past, I may have seen those states, but I was maybe too little to remember it. I'd like to do that now as an adult, and maybe it's, I'm not saying I would go on hikes or do anything like, I mean, I could go on hikes if I wanted to, but I'm saying there's places in Oregon, and there's places in the state of Washington, and there's places in, Wyoming that I would like to go to, even Montana and other states as well. I'm not saying these states I'm definitely wanting to go to for my birthday next year, but those are some of the possibilities. Doesn't have to be Oregon, doesn't have to be Washington, it doesn't have to be Montana or Wyoming or any of those states. It could be Tennessee. It could be Michigan. It could be basically any state that I want to visit for, let's say, a week or maybe a week and a half, 10 days, something like that. And it could be any kind of activity that we do at this said place or thing. So all I'm saying is that there's some places I would like to go that I haven't been to either in a long time or ever. I'd like to see Yellowstone. I'd like to see, my family again that was in Ohio potentially someday again. Maybe going down to Georgia or Mississippi or one of the Carolinas or one of the Dakotas. Maybe go see Mount Rushmore. Just a few states. I'm just spitballing here. I'm not saying these are definitive or these are going to happen, but it's a possibility. If I can save enough money and we can figure out how to do that, I'd love nothing more than to go to Oregon or to go to the state of Washington or go to where Yellowstone National Park is, or maybe go to Zion or something along those lines, or go to the Hoover Dam, or go to the Four Corners in Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. And those are probably not the correct states, but I do know New Mexico is one of them, and I do know Arizona is one of them. And you can be in 4 different states at one time, or not at one time, but within like a 5 minute window or less than that, like maybe a 1 minute window. You just step over the cross lines of each one of them. And I know there's a lot of people that go to that area where the 4 states connect, or like I said, there's a possibility of, I'm not saying we're going to go to Nashville or see Graceland or anything like that. But that's just a thought. And there are things in Oregon that you can do outside of going on hikes and going camping and all those things. And the same thing with the state of Washington. I've been pretty close to the border of, I think it's Oregon and California, or is it Washington, California? Where the redwoods are, up near the border of the two states. I'm not saying I have ever been in Oregon on that trip that we did, but who knows? Maybe in, let's see, what is that? 8 or 9 months from now, maybe I'll have enough money and we can do that trip. Or we can do something kind of cool where I go to another state or go to a place I've never been to in a while or ever. These are just some thoughts that when I was talking to some individuals that could happen or it couldn't happen. I don't really know at this point. It really depends on how much I can save, because that's the goal, is to save as much as I can to go to these things. Whether it's going with a family member, whether it's going with a friend, whatever it is, I'm down to do whatever it takes to make those things happen. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could. Anyways, that's it for today's vlog. Practice self-love as much as you humanly possibly can. And once you've mastered it for yourself, that's when your love story comes around. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens. If that happens in April or if that doesn't happen in April, we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, I will see you tomorrow with a brand new vlog. But before I go, I'm actually going to go and see the new Indiana Jones film today at a little while after this vlog goes up. So I definitely will be doing a movie review, whether it's later this week or early next week. I do have another movie that I would like to go see. It's the new Insidious film. It opens on Friday. And then next week, there's the new Mission Impossible film opens up on Wednesday. And maybe I go see it then. Maybe I wait until Friday. I don't know what the plan is for that just yet. But I definitely want to go see Insidious: The Red Door, which is the final installation of those films. And we'll just have to wait and see. So the movie I'm going to see today is 2.5 hours long. Almost 2 hours, 40 minutes long. And I hope it's good, but the last Indiana Jones film wasn't that great. So maybe this one won't be that great either. It could be terrible. It could be good. I don't really know until after I go see it. And bye-bye.